other goals for today. I want to make a video regarding color and how different pigmentations are affected by different skin tones. All right, so I'm gonna start from the beginning and kind of show you guys my thoughts behind color. You know, everything that I can explain, hopefully, in this video. I know sometimes these topics can be touchy, right? Because it's unfortunately an uncomfortable reality. So, all right, I guess I'm sorry to make this a little confusing. So, all right, we got the different tones of skin tone, light to darkest. Same here, we got the lightest to darkest, right? In the opposite spectrum. Now, with that being said, some of the things that are the most complicated to explain is that ultimately color on its own is a semi-transparent tone. The pigment, the tattoo pigment on its own is not, it's not like paint, right? So it's kind of like staining a glass. And so you're going to be able to see birthmarks, like what I mean by a semi-transparent tone. So if your skin tone falls somewhere here in the amber, what's going to happen, let's say if you want to do like a yellow, we're going to bring this here just so you could see. So just how we have this here, you could barely notice what's happening, right? This here, not that noticeable. Same. Now, if we were to throw a skin tone, nothing either, right? You got to keep in mind, all these colors are also going to age. This is not going to be the true tone. You know, you got this golden yellow, nothing. So typically, the best things to do when it comes to color is go for the deeper, stronger tones, because some of these baby tones will never show on the skin, uh, which it can actually change the micropigmentation underneath your natural skin tone may affect the way this color may be viewed once it's fully healed, right? So I've tattooed tones kind of like a light pastel turquoise on darker pigment, and it's actually healed more green, like a creamy green, which depending on the tattoo, obviously that's not the color you're intending to go for. So it can completely ruin your piece, right? So with that being said, right, it's, just how I showed over here with the amber tone. Let's bring some of this skin tone up here, right? Now, the lighter the skin tone, the better the color is going to show. Even so, with that being said, even let's say you're like the lightest pale tone, but you got freckles, you will be able to see the freckles underneath the yellows, the oranges, the purple, stuff like that. So that is not like you're just like painting over a canvas. So obviously, this color spectrum here in the lighter tone has the best range of achievable tones, right? Um, where we can go down here and you could view how how different all these tones really look depending. You got the darkest skin, obviously, like you're not seeing really anything, um which it's unfortunate. But the beauty of yeah, the beauty with the darker your complexion is that we get to simplify designs and go high contrast, which that kind of that's a separate segment of just my opinion on tattoos, and sometimes when we go like super complex in the issues that may bring up later on as the years and the tattoo ages. So yeah, so getting back to the color idea. So I just want you guys to like really pay attention and just see how some of these like more pure tones still look vivid and they really come to life Um, the reds are always great for darker skin. Um, as you can see, right? Like some, like once you start getting like a little too dark, it does get a little bit more complex. Let me see. Yeah, purple, you may get like a purple hue and things like that. Uh, yeah. All right. So I guess at the end of the day, right? Some of the colors that I've tested and I've seen that work the best from, I'd say, like a caramel tone. The darker people's skin starts getting, um, another. Hold on. So another big component that I'm trying to explain, or that I do believe it's important to get to, is the reality of how colors will change as depending. So something I said on my previous video, right? Depending on our lifestyle, it's what's going to matter to how colors are going to heal. So what that means, if you like hiking, you like the outdoors, you like to go fishing and all this stuff, you're going to be under the sun for a lot of hours, uh, which is going to tremendously, once again, impact this whole wheel here, right? Once you start from somewhere here in the middle and you end up in this region towards the end of the summer, guess what? Now your colored tattoo is going to change with it. Uh, Naturally speaking, what's going to happen once you lose your tan closer to the winter, you'll go back to the normal, which is fine. But keep in mind, this is what I meant by babying your tattoos. You're going to have to stay on top of the sunblock. You're going to have to take care of it if you want the colors to stay true to the original stage. Um, yeah, so sunblock is super important for color tattoos, and this is exactly why I always recommend to do black and gray, right? If you have black and gray with some of these tones, they're going to always stay true. Same with this. Um, some of my least favorite colors, eh, yellows, oranges, fucking suck. Those tones just, I've always given them like a max of give or take 4 years. And by then it's going to start changing. Another huge component, which I mentioned before, is the fact of colors that we're mixing with yellows and oranges. How will those colors be affected and morphed with time? I've even seen colors that I've done plenty of years ago with color that used to be a purple, and 10 years later the undertone of that purple was green, which now all you see is green. I'll actually have to share pictures of this one of these days. So a lot of this like color stuff is still very experimental. Some of them have stayed great, but at the same token, some of them I don't even want to imagine what these portraits are looking like. So that's why I criticize a lot of super vivid, colorful tattoos, because it's all an experiment. A lot of these tattoos have only evolved to this level in the past 15 to 16 years. And one of the things that vaguely artists are doing is sharing their tattoos, 10 years plus healed. So, if you got a portrait of someone and somehow it turns into the Incredible Hulk, it's going to be quite disappointing. So, I hope this kind of like rundown explains a little bit behind color, being realistic with what colors actually and how they are translucent with different skin tones. Um, I hope this kind of makes sense. If it doesn't, please let me know underneath in the comments and I can go further in depth and explaining a little bit more. I try to make this video like a little short, and but as always, it just, becomes a long thing. Um what else? Yeah, just let me know if you got any questions and I'll try to go further in depth and actually be a little bit more prepared with this, explaining more in depth. Thank you.